maybe I'm one of those characters that dies early, like an Amy Winehouse who lived 7 more years, or Kurt Cobain, just a little too long. But I was still, when you look back at it, you go, that was just a shooting star. He was just a bright light who came down to this earth, and he shared his weird little ideas. And maybe that's what I give, but maybe it isn't. Either way, if I don't share this part, I'll never know. And you'll never know, because I didn't share enough for me to even be the shooting star. I mean, I'm so wrapped up and caught up in being the perfect thing that can share things later, that I'm not even willing to open myself up to the fact that my story could be the guy who shared a few ideas before he went. Don't be so proud of what you could be that you cut off what's even here now. There's a thing you could achieve here, and also you could get to the place you want to through doing these little things. Do the small grunt work. I mean, every business, every industry operates that way, where you do little things and you become one. Maybe that's me. Maybe people work that way too. We have to do little versions of you which feel the opposite of grandiose and walking down the red carpet. I mean, right now this feels like skating up the green toll booth. I don't know what's happening, but if I don't say anything, then you just become a I wasn't even trying kid. And I remember that being a really big part of being young. You're like, he just said he wasn't trying, and you're like, what is he waiting for? You know, we're not gonna get on the World Cup stage. The most important thing we do right now is you beat me in recess, or I beat you. And if you're like, I wasn't even trying, it's like, well, what are you saving it for? What is this other place you're hoping to get to in which, okay, now I'm trying? It's also really cool to try when you don't get any credit, because then everyone's like, dude, he just loves the thing. He just wants to talk shop. He must clearly love the game. He doesn't even get credit for this. No one's seeing this. This is done in a back alley somewhere. It might pay off, yes, but he doesn't get credit for this. So he must love it. And he must be serious about it. And maybe that's what these are. Maybe this is just a coming out where it's really embarrassing. And no one knows why I'm here or why I'm still talking. Or am I British or not? No one knows these questions. But this could just be the beginning of something, but you don't know what that thing is, and you shouldn't have to know. And you shouldn't put an expectation of what you're expecting or you're hoping for. I think a lot of people think, are you hoping that you become X? Are you hoping that you become Y or Z? I mean, obviously the most embarrassing one is that you think you're going to become some sort of figure. And I don't think that. I just want to share stuff. I have ideas. It feels better to do this than it does to do nothing. That's all that I have right now is what's in front of me. And sharing something feels so much better than keeping it inside. I mean, this feels like I'm getting it out. I'm releasing something that's been locked up in this brain of mine for so long. Who knows who's creating it or manifesting it, or why it's coming out in this fashion at this time, but it is. And I don't need anything from it. I don't want you to think about a human identity behind it. These are just thoughts. You might as well be looking at a leaf, or a tree, or a cloud, or the sky, because that's what these words are. These are just droplets of water coming from, they happen to just be coming from my throat. That's just biology, physics, or some other global science. But that's how I feel right now when I'm outside. I feel free, like a free man, because I technically am. I might die soon. I could die. We could all die. And then you'll have just thoughts. Because you won't be able to move your body around. It'll just be a series of thoughts. And I don't know if that's true. I don't know if you will die. Maybe you don't die. And maybe if you don't die, you actually get 2 bodies. And you can't think. I don't know. What's fun is that I might not know. There's a mystery in not knowing. And exposing myself to being wrong is where joy can be found. It's one of the places joy can be found, but it also might not be. Maybe it's only good if I know exactly what's going to happen. But to me right now, it feels like taking risks opens me up to find the truth. If I might be wrong, then I can be right. If you just fail to do anything, you're neither wrong nor right. You're just a nothing. You're just waiting there. And being wrong means you were looking in the right area. You opened the right door and the cupboard and the closet, and you thought, is it in here? Is the truth in here? Oh, no, wrong door. But the part that gets all screwed up is when you go, oh, my ego found the wrong door. And that means that I must just be nothing. I must be a lowlife, has-been, do-good, know-it-all, nothing burger, just compiled into this one little person who thinks he's going to be something, but he's not, because he looked in the wrong door. He used the wrong voice. He looked in the wrong way. He uses this guy is not the answer. And I might not be. That's cool. The fact that I'm looking means I'm asking the right questions. Now, I don't know who's going to hear this. I don't know how it's going to be perceived or heard. I can't control any of that. I don't have a publicist or a cameraman or a sound guy or an editor to tell me don't say that. People don't like when you say that. None of those people are here right now talking me off the ledge saying, don't say what you're saying. Don't do what you're doing. Save it for another day, but I'm done with saving it. Whatever's happening is just going to happen through this mouth and this head and these knees and this freaking waistline, and all of it's coming from me in some form or figure. It's happening through this amalgamation of atoms. And so I'm just going to go for it. And if I fail, we all fail. And if you fail, then I feel sad that failure is a thing. I wish that there was no such thing as failure. But more and more, I feel that failure is just not trying. Failure is just not going for it. We always regret the things we didn't do when we're lying on our deathbed, because I've been on 1,000 deathbeds. I've lived 1,000 lives. And I know that being something, even if it hurts, always feels better than not being anything. Hell is nothing. Being trapped in the middle. That's what hell feels like. Falling down, climbing a mountain, tripping, scraping your ankles, getting back up. That's trying. And I don't even know if that's true. I could be saying something right now and a much smarter entity is going, he's wrong. You know, that could be the truth. But that means that we have freedom to think. The fact that I could be wrong or right means, oh, I could think this, I could think that. I am free to do what I think and do what I want and be who I am. And also, you might not see this. You know, consider this special, because this could be the part of my little ramble that I think I've gone on a bit too far. But that's also kind of special, because now you're getting like the hidden bonus track. And again, I think you guys are thinking like, what does he want from this? Does he expect to become like a bigger version of this, in which he like earns money and accolades? Like, is he hoping that these thoughts lead him to some sort of exposure where someone notices him and they go, oh my God, these thoughts, they came out in such a cool manner that I need you to say some more into my thing for money. And then you gain like infamy and fame and girlfriends, and I don't know. I'm not going to turn it down. But that's not why I'm doing that. I'm doing this because before I felt like I was in like a little bit of a hell. Because I was sitting on my couch and I was listening to all these other people talk about stuff. And not to say that you shouldn't listen to everyone else, because that inspired me to get out here. And maybe this inspires you to go do something. I don't know anything. I'm not filled with wisdom. Like, don't trust me. You know, hear this and form your own opinions. But I'm gonna keep talking about stuff because stuff is good. Sometimes I'm listening to people who talk on podcasts and they're just saying stuff. Like, I'm not gaining anything from it. It just feels good to hear a word or a voice or a thought that isn't my own. And maybe that's a service that you can provide someone. It's just saying something to someone. I mean, sometimes when people are conversing, I'm trying to rationalize it in my head. And other times I'm like, it just feels good to hear people making sense. And even if they're not making the most sense of anyone you've ever heard, it just reminds you of your childhood when people talked. I mean, one of the greatest things about my childhood was lying in my bed and muffled sounds from the kitchen. Muffled sounds from the kitchen when I was lying in bed are some of the happiest, most joyous moments. And I had no idea what they were saying. It was just like, meh, yeah, yeah. But I know that was like my sister and my brother and my dad and my mom, and they were just talking about stuff. And that gave me such familiarity, and it wasn't even words. I couldn't make out any of it. But I think that says something about me talking now and not feeling like I have to know exactly what I'm going to say or when I'm going to say it or what it's going to be about. There can just be a joy in someone hearing some words. This is not a format that you're going to like seek out. I'm just going to sort of give it to you on a platter, and then you're going to be like, well, what is this? And I'm going to have to shove it down your throat and say, look, it doesn't have to be something you expected, because some of the greatest things in life happen when we keep going past what's comfortable. Like right now, I've probably had 9 to 10 to 100 times where I go, Jack, stop. Like, stop talking. Like, save it for another time. Nobody wants to hear you. But then I have to push past it because I say to myself, like it hurts even right now as I'm doing it. I'm talking right now, saying to myself, shut up, like shut up. Put the phone down, no one cares about this. You're oversharing, you're overexposing yourself. But maybe there's something cool right on the other side of it. Maybe it's not always convenient to share the exact thing that's on your mind. Maybe you have to go past what feels comfortable, and you have to get into somewhere that's a little bit like, oh, I had to endure. And we don't tend to think about it like that with this particular set of skills. If you were exercising, or you were like picking yourself up by your bootstraps, or waking up early and like doing the best you could and like really getting after it, people would tell you like you have to push past what's comfortable. Like you have to really go, like it's not going to just feel good all the time. But in this, sharing, everyone's like, I'm going to keep it short and brief and to the point and make sure I know exactly what you're saying. And that tends to make the people who are trying to create something go, okay, well, I'm about done. That's about it for me, because I got to keep this, I got to wrap this up. I got to keep this going. I know you guys got plenty of things to do, but for the person that's on the other side of it, you actually have to push past what's comfortable and what felt like it was normal and what felt like that was enough. You have to go beyond enough. I'm now delivering a thing that any rational, sane person would be like, it's too much. He's just said too much. I don't know if the ideas that are coming out even have validity anymore. And I don't know if they ever did. But what I am saying is that you have to sort of push beyond. Like there's just plenty of moments where life is going to go, fuck, that's it. Like stop, shut it down. But some of the beautiful things that happen are right beyond that. It's just, you're so close.